Hey, y'all, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast, where live music and great stories take center stage. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at TETON Guitars. Whether you're picking tunes around a campfire or taking the stage at your favorite honky tonk, TETON Guitars delivers rich, soulful sound built for the journey. Learn more at tetonguitars.com. Now let's dive into some music and memories. All right. Hey, music lovers. Welcome to Musical Miles Podcast. I'm your host, Byron Duffin. We are here in Las Vegas, Nevada with Mr. Steve Helms.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, thanks for joining us on our podcast.
Appreciate the offer.
Yeah, we're here at the Westgate Hotel and Casino.
Yes, sir.
During the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada.
It is a great place to be. It's my third year to do this.
What a great place, and
Man,
what a great facility.
Yeah, I'm so honored to get invited back. You know, I love it here.
Well, you didn't know this, but maybe I did share this with you, but we got to see you in Fort Worth on Cloud Covered Sunday.
Oh, yes, sir.
You did. They were doing a fundraiser there in Fort Worth.
Yeah. What a great organization.
Oh, yeah. What a great organization. Yeah. Kind of started out in Phoenix.
Right.
And then stepped over into Fort Worth. And so they provide trailers with showers and washing machines.
Yeah.
For the homeless to take showers and wash their clothes and give them haircuts.
And give them haircuts. Yeah. And I mean, you know, who doesn't need a shower and a haircut?
Oh, man. Yeah.
It doesn't take a whole lot to make you feel good about yourself, and that they're doing an awesome thing. You know?
Yeah. And then that very same day, they were also doing a fundraiser for your friend Tommy.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Tommy Alverson, Texas legend, man.
Yeah.
We lost him to cancer.
Yeah, what a sad deal. Just a few weeks after that event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened so fast.
Yeah.
From the time that we all found out that he was sick to the time that he passed was lightning, and it's crazy. You know?
Yeah. Well, I know that that was a big day. My wife and I had spent 10 days in Texas,
right,
doing interviews for the podcast.
Yeah. And, tell me where's home for you.
So Idaho, just south Idaho Falls, a little town called Shelley.
Okay.
And so we started this podcast in mid-July of this year,
right,
and started out, did a couple interviews, and then we went out to the Braun Brothers reunion.
Oh yeah.
So Mickey and Willie and Gary and Muzzy and all those guys and Cody. And went out and did some interviews. We got to interview Django Walker and Cody Canada.
He's such a good dude, isn't he?
Just such a great dude. In fact, he invited me to come. Yesterday he did his dad's tribute show at Green Hall.
That's so awesome.
And he invited me to come out to it. And but I knew I was going to be here. It was kind of a conflict, and I had a lot of interviews lined up here, so I figured I better stick around.
Right.
So, but what a cool dude, and what a great story.
Oh yeah.
You know, most people they really don't know who. I didn't know who Django was till I saw him at the BBR about I don't know 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then connected the dots, and I just love Jerry Jeff. I mean, I've always loved Jerry Jeff.
He's the starter of all this.
He really truly is. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I remember being in the 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 58 years old. That was a long time ago.
Oh,
buddy.
yeah.
And hearing some of my friends' parents playing the cassettes of Jerry Jeff Walker.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm 64, so I got you by a little bit, but I grew up listening to Mr. Bojangles and Pissing in the Wind.
Of course.
And, such great tunes. And Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law was actually a songwriter, and Jerry Jeff came and did a songwriter deal in Arizona.
Right.
And my wife got to hear Jerry Jeff when she was like 12.
That's awesome.
So I never did get to see Jerry Jeff live.
Right.
But we started this podcast because we love live music.
Oh,
and that's what this is all about for us, and to share that live music experience with people if they haven't had it, and to introduce them to new music.
Yeah.
You know, like yourself. You know, we got to come and see you were on the stage that day with, I believe you were in the same set with Jack Nelson and, were you in with Jack?
Oh, God, I'm trying to think back.
He's from College Station.
Had
the dog on the stage with him.
Yes.
And then was Rio Tripiano in that set?
No, he wasn't on stage.
But he came later. But we have actually got to interview Rio while we were down there.
Right.
What a talented guitar player.
Oh my God. Yeah, Rio's a great dude.
Yeah, and awesome guy.
And what a hell of a dresser.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's got his own style, my friend.
He's got an outfit, man.
Yeah, he does. He's supposed to be here this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming down. He's got because he has a deal with Huey.
Right.
So he's coming to the Huey party this weekend. So anyway, so tell us a little bit about your musical journey, Steve. What got you into the music?
I grew up in Cleburne, Texas, about 30 miles south of Fort Worth.
Okay.
My dad was Leon Helms, and my dad played music.
Okay.
And all of my uncles, it was just a family kind of thing.
Sure.
And my dad had some of those old 45s out whenever I was a little kid.
Right.
Mom and dad divorced, so I saw dad every other weekend kind of thing,
Okay.
But dad was always somewhere at a gig. And when it was my weekend, I was usually sitting at a table at some VFW hall with an aunt or somebody,
Sure.
and just watching, and that's kind of what got me into it. Everybody around me played an instrument.
Right.
And I just kind of grew up in the middle of it,
So besides your dad, who really influenced your music? What did you listen to growing up? Because we're close to the same age. I'm a little older than you, but I grew up in the 70s. So
once dad got me my first guitar, actually I got a drum set first.
Okay.
And there was three of us, three buddies of mine, Jeff Gilbert and Jeff Reagan, and we were all in around the 6th grade. And we all three got drum kits for Christmas.
Okay.
So we would all go over one of our houses and we'd all play. And we're like, we should start a band. And then, being the idiots that we were, we're like, well, shit, I guess we can't all three play the drums. Somebody's got to play a guitar.
Well, you weren't that much of an idiot if you realize that you can have three drum players. Yeah.
So I asked for a guitar. My dad got me one. And I don't know, maybe 13.
Okay.
And started from there. And we started learning Eagles tunes.
Yeah, great tunes to learn.
We didn't have the internet and YouTube to have somebody show me how to play. You had a Mel Bay chord book.
Yes.
So you'd open up these chord books and learn the chords.
And learn to play a little bit by ear,
probably.
Of course.
I do not read music. Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear something on the radio and play it back to you, but I don't know. I can't look at sheet music.
Right.
And
You're not alone. There's lots of musicians like that. My mother-in-law was that way. She could not read music, but she had a standard grand piano in her house, and we'd ask her if she knew a song. She'd say, "Can you hum me a few bars or sing me a few?" And you'd hum it, and she'd play it.
Yeah. So, like even in high school, I wasn't in band or any of that. I was always leery of that. I didn't want to learn sheet music notes because I thought it might take away from what God had given me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know. I guess it's stupid, but I guess in some way I thought it was cheating. You're reading that off the paper. That's how you playing that.
Yeah.
I'm playing it because I heard it on the radio and I went over and picked the guitar up and I learned it. You know?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. That's the wrong mentality. But as a kid, that's kind of how I thought. You know?
But I think there's a lot to be said about that because that's a real gift. You have to have a really good ear.
Yeah.
I tell everybody because I play a little bit. I mean, I'm horrible, but I as a young man I started young and then didn't stick with it. Well, part of the problem was I was a little bit tone deaf and so I couldn't keep a damn guitar in tune.
I got you.
And so now it's easy because they come with tuners built in. You got it on your cell phone. Anybody can tune a guitar, even me, and so I'll play. That's why I said that. Check that guitar today because I've toted it around and we've been getting everybody autograph it. So, just for our listeners to know, we're giving that guitar away a week from Monday.
That's cool.
So we've got a lot of NFR contestants autographed it. We've got some of the Yellowstone stars have autographed it. Buck Taylor and Mo Plenty.
Mo does plenty.
Yeah, does plenty. Yeah. What a good guy. I met him today.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of the NFR team ropers and a few of the roughies. But it's been fun. And so but TETON Guitars out of Idaho. I don't know if you'd ever heard of those guys.
I haven't.
Yeah, they're a good little guitar company and they've been really, really good to us.
Awesome.
And so but anyway, at the end we're gonna have you play us a song. But
perfect.
Tell us a little bit about your because you gig full time. This is 100%
have for years.
Years and years.
I mean, I play guitar, I play bass, I play piano.
Okay.
And as soon as I graduated high school, I got on the road and was playing bass. My cousin from Cleburne, Texas, Sonny Burgess.
Okay.
Sonny was chasing a record deal at that time.
Yeah.
And Sonny played guitar for my dad when he was 18.
Okay.
So when Sonny got old enough to where it was going to be his thing, he wanted to do this, then I started playing bass for Sonny.
Okay.
And I spent probably 12 years on the road with Sonny.
Okay.
And, doing the Nashville thing and Sonny was really pursuing a record deal back then.
Yeah.
And that was really before there was a Texas music scene.
Right.
There was a scene.
Sure.
It was the Austin,
Yeah.
Green Hall kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
it was really,
it wasn't statewide like it is now.
No.
So when we were out on the road, we were going to Denver, Nashville, and Florida, and Vegas, and and just playing all over. And then one day we got back and we had a show at Billy Bob's, and we're opening for some kid named Pat Green, and we're all like, "Who the hell's this?" And why is there so damn many people in this bar right now?
Right.
What in the world's going on?
Right.
Well, it was because these dudes, they were smart enough to get in. They were college dudes,
and they
got in the college scenes, and that's where that all kind of exploded.
It just
the Robert Earl Kings and the Pat Greens and
Lyle Lovitz and
it was all the college thing.
It really took off. And Pat, I'm a big Pat fan.
Oh, I am too. He's one of my friends. I love him.
Pat was playing in Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Yeah.
And there wasn't 40 people there. He's selling out stadiums in Texas.
Right.
But nobody knew him outside of Texas. I shouldn't say nobody.
Nobody's fault. That's just that's the way it is.
Well, in Texas is the same way. I mean, even today.
Yeah.
I spent 10 days down there when I saw you play.
Right.
And we spent 7 days in New Braunfels, right in Green Hall. And I interviewed 3 artists at Green Hall and then went around the area. And it just amazes me because every time I turned around, somebody's going, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, we're doing a music podcast." "Well, you need to interview this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy." And I'm like, I would love to, but I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of them. And so, and one that we got exposed to down there was Billy Joe Jones.
Yeah.
And, she's here today.
Oh, nice.
And I talked to her, and I'm going to interview her tomorrow.
That's so cool.
So she's such a sweetheart, and she put on a hell of a show. She opened for Jack Ingram at Green Hall while I was down there.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, we've been exposed to new music, and so our goal with the podcast is to introduce our listeners to all this music that they've never heard of.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. That's so cool. It's amazing.
Give them
I'm
an
glad that we have
opportunity.
this avenue now to do this.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your songwriting. So,
yes, sir.
So you've written a lot of stuff of your own.
I have. Like I said, I've played music for other people. I've been around the world 12 times playing music for other people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then in 2006, I had taken a hiatus and had done day gigs or day jobs, and just got tired of the, chasing that deal, but for other people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I took some time off, and a buddy of mine opened up a venue back home in Cleburne. He called me. He goes, "Hey, man, are you still playing music?" And I go, "I hadn't played in a while,
Yeah.
He said, "I just opened up this bar. I really wish you'd come play."
Sure.
And I called 4 of the best pickers that I know that are my friends.
Yeah.
But incredible players.
Sure.
And everybody was home.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Hey, let's go next weekend." Randy, a buddy of ours, he bought a venue and he wants us to come play. So we all hooked up and we did. We showed up. We called it Steve and Friends. And that was in 2006. No, it was in 2005. In 2006, I signed a record deal.
Oh, wow.
In the Texas music scene.
Yeah.
And I started making my own records because everybody's like, "Dude, you need to start doing your own stuff."
Sure.
So I started writing, and I was like, "Really? People want to hear that?"
Yeah.
So I did. I started writing, and in 2006, 2007, I had my first album out called Nowhere But Texas.
Okay.
And I have a song called Nowhere But Texas, and the Rangers, Texas Rangers baseball, they've played it at every home game for 17 years.
Oh, that is awesome.
And at one point, there was a beer company out of Arlington, Texas, a legal draft company, and there was a Nowhere But Texas beer with my name on the can all over the state for a long time. Then COVID hit and shut it down, which,
shut down a lot of stuff.
But that's kind of how I got going with my own music.
Sure.
In 2006, I signed a distribution deal and started making records. And I've got maybe 5 or 6 of them out there now.
5 or 6 albums, full albums.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So are you other than, you're still gigging full time. You're here for 10 days.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. We're playing all the time.
And then where do you go from here?
We go back home and, of course it's Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
And my son and daughter-in-law, they live in Colorado.
Okay.
And so I'll get back home. We'll have a show or two, I think, back close to the house.
Yeah.
And then I get on a plane and go see the grandbabies for Christmas.
Oh yeah, nothing better than grandbabies at Christmas. How many grandbabies?
I have 2.
How old are they?
They are 5 and 3.
Oh, fun.
Oh yeah.
You're going to have
Santa
a blast.
Claus is coming to town.
Yes,
you know?
he is.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
he is. Well, I have 9 grandkids.
Oh man.
But ranging in age from 25 to 7 months. But yeah, it's still fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. So, well, that's cool. So, have you had anybody else cut your music?
I have.
So, what do you got out there?
There's an artist, a buddy of ours, Randy Brown from Fort Worth area. There's another buddy, Aaron Copeland.
Okay.
AC, everybody calls him AC. Jamie Richards.
Okay.
There. Who else? Golly. I mean, I've had several cuts on other Texas artists' stuff.
Sure.
I haven't had any major cuts.
No national stuff, no major cuts.
I've got a song called Talking About the Weather.
Okay.
And back in the day, whenever it came out, I want to say it was about 2012.
Okay.
Was doing a lot of radio stuff and Kojo, you know, we'd all do song swaps and radio interviews.
Yeah.
And he's always loved that song.
Yeah.
And I pray to God one day that he's going to call me and go, Steve, you know what? I want to cut that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In fact, when he, after he turned into Kojo, I sent him a text. I go, dude, I'm just sitting over here talking about the weather, you know, just, and I got a ha-ha back, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get a cut soon from somebody. But I've got a lot of buddies in the Texas scene that we've co-written and they put. And to me, that's the coolest thing ever is when you having your name on someone else's CD.
Yeah.
Somebody else likes what you've written and they want to cut it. Yeah. That's very cool to me.
The crazy thing to me, and that most people don't realize, is just how big that Texas music scene is.
Oh, God, it's massive.
It's massive.
Massive. In different regions, it's completely different circles, different groups.
Yeah, because you have that Austin, New Braunfels kind of...
There's a Dallas-Fort Worth scene.
Dallas-Fort Worth
there's
scene.
An East Texas scene.
Yeah, there's the Lubbock, the West Texas, the Lubbock up there in the Panhandle kind of area. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting.
But it's crazy, and there's a ton of them in each one of those regions. I have no clue who they are.
Well, and it amazes me. As I talk to even Texans, I'll say, well, do you know so-and-so? Never heard of them.
Yeah.
How do you not hear somebody? But then again, it's such a big scene.
Yeah, and we're all out playing somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's hard to keep up with everybody.
Well, and so there's so many different venues. But let me ask you this: where you've traveled around the world,
right?
What is your favorite venue? What's one of the favorite places you've played?
You know, honestly, back in the day, back when I was playing music for other people in the 90s and all that, the 90s music scene was it was the shit. It was, that's my music.
Yeah.
The Mark Chestnuts, the Tracy Birds, the Straight, you know what I mean?
Tracy Lawrence,
and that's my wheelhouse. You know, somebody wants to request a song to me at my show, ask for a 90s country tune, you know. Yeah. But back in the day, we used to play the Wild Horse in Nashville a lot.
Okay.
Like we would go there for 2 weeks every 6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was just an incredible venue.
And I've been to the Wild Horse. I've only been to Nashville one time, but we got into some of those cool venues. And the same in Austin, you know, down on 6th Street, and some of that stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to get those historicals because we've even tried to feature some of the historical venues,
right?
Like Green Hall.
You know,
we got to interview 3 artists at Green Hall while we were down there, and that was a cool experience.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Went out to the Devil's Backbone, and you know, just cool. San Marcos, you know, Cheatham Street. Yeah, that's a kind of a big deal down there.
Played it several times.
Oh, I'm sure you have. Yeah.
But the Wild Horse was always a big place to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really cool. And for the musicians that listen to your podcast, I'll put it this way. When you would get there and sound check on Wednesday at 3:00 in the afternoon, he would say, check your mic, and you would check it, and it would smell like Listerine. Somebody actually gave a shit and cleaned the microphone. You know, it wasn't just some smoke-filled beer bar room, you know.
Yeah.
But it was like, holy crap, they try to treat you like you're supposed to be here.
Right.
Green rooms and dressing rooms and, you know.
Yeah.
Holy crap, this is awesome, you know.
Yeah.
You're not just the kitchen help back here now.
And they'd actually fill your rider when you ask them, you know, you want those green M&Ms, right?
Yeah, we didn't know what a rider was back then. We were just hoping to get a Coke, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, or a free beer.
Yeah, or a free beer.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, so who were some of the bands besides your cousin that you toured with?
Oh man, well, I was with Sonny for 12 years, so that was the main thing. You know? But back in the day, there was about 5 or 6 bands that we all followed each other around. You know what I mean? It was like everybody played this circuit.
Sure.
You remember Ty Herndon?
Oh, yeah.
Ty Herndon.
You bet.
Sons of the Desert.
Oh, yeah.
There was a guy in Fort Worth, he still plays, Steve Stewart.
Okay.
And there was Sonny Burgess.
Yeah.
And,
Sonny.
Joey Floyd, who wound up playing guitar for Toby Keith for years and years and years.
Okay.
But there was all these bands, and we all played the same venues. So
Sure.
this week, they're there, we're here, and you just kind of, everybody would follow each other.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And fill in for each other, I'm sure. You know,
Well, if you could.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of those guys that, you know, even in that Red Dirt, you know, Cody Canada and that bunch, you know, those guys all play together with Reckless Kelly,
Oh,
Mick
my
and
God,
the Motor Cars.
Well, like out here, my fiddle player, Ben McPherson, his phone rings constantly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, we're playing all 10 days here.
Right.
Well, but we're playing early. We're playing 4 to 5:30. Then they simulcast the rodeo at 6.
Right.
So at 9 o'clock on 6 or 7 different nights out here, Ben's got other gigs.
Right.
Like one night he's playing with Josh Ward at the rodeo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, Tuesday actually. They'll lower the stage.
Yep. Oh, I've been out there,
do one song.
I've been here 25 years in a
Yeah,
row.
well, they'll do that one song. Well, Ben's going to play with Josh on Tuesday.
Fun.
But he's got gigs the whole time. But so, yeah, I mean.
So are you playing here with a full band, not just
No,
by yourself?
it's just me and Ben. We're
just you
doing
and Ben.
a duo.
Okay, okay. Just you and Ben and him. He's on the fiddle and you're on the guitar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And we both sing, do our thing.
Yeah.
In fact, Ben's cutting a CD right now, too.
Is he?
Yeah, he's going to have his own album out pretty soon. I'm proud of that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time. I know
Yes.
your time's tight. We only
Yeah,
have
we
about
got to
30
go
minutes.
sing here in a little bit.
Grab that guitar for me, if you will.
Yes, sir.
You put a little tune on it and play me a tune. You kind of set it up. Tell me what you're going to play me.
You want a slow one, a fast one, or a half-fast one?
I want whatever you want to play.
I talked about the weather a while ago.
Yeah.
Let me do that one.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's a song that I wrote it about my grandpa.
Okay, cool. I love that.
There's a songwriter in Nashville named Kerry Kurt Phillips.
Okay.
And he's had probably 100 cuts and probably 15 number ones.
Oh, wow.
And I've known Kerry for 30 plus years.
Wow.
Back in the Sonny Burgess days.
Yeah.
And I had the idea of talking about the weather. And my idea was whether she stays or whether she goes.
Okay.
We tried to write that. We spent a whole day writing that, and he's like, man, it just don't feel right. And honestly, it was Kerry's idea of, wait a second, what if it's Screw Love? What if it's...
About the weather?
No, what if it's your grandpa? And he's talking about everything your grandpa would say, whether this is going to happen or whether that's going to happen.
Okay.
And it's like, holy crap. And it was like a light bulb went off on the both of us.
Yeah.
And we wrote the song.
Oh, cool.
And this is it. Talking
right.
about the weather. You hear it all right?
You know what? Yeah. We could actually plug that in, but I'm gonna.
That's all right. If you
I'm
can
gonna
hear
give
it.
you both microphones.
All right.
There you go.
Let's try that.
Yeah.
Every week I go and see my granddad. We sit and talk for hours on the swing. I love the time we spend out on the front porch. He'll say, get out your guitar, boy, and sing. Granddad never ceases to amaze me at the conversation he gets me into. But there ain't nothing that makes that man feel better than sitting out here just talking about the weather. Whether the yard should be mowed or whether the mailman's gonna show, whether the dogs have been fed or whether the sports page has been read, whether Sarah's going to the prom, whether I've called and said hi to Mom. Talking about everything when we're together, but mainly we just talk about the weather. They closed down the Domino Hall and all his friends have passed, so there's really not much left for him to do. But lately all that doesn't seem to matter now. 'Cause early last spring the Lord called Grandma too. As we sit here I think about the future. How time flies, you blink and then it's gone. I know he won't be around forever. So thank God for all this talking about the weather. Whether the yard should be mowed, or whether the mailman's gonna show, whether the dogs have been fed, whether the sports page has been read, whether Sarah's going to the prom, whether I've called and said hi to Mom. Talking about everything when we're together, but mainly we just talk about the weather. I help him button up his sweater. He's still talking about the weather.
Man, that is awesome.
Thank you, buddy.
I love that because that reminds me of my grandpa. And
I get a lot of tears in the crowd when I do that sometimes.
Yeah, that's just sweet as could be. I miss my grandparents and my dad. You know, my folks are gone. So.
Mine too, buddy.
But yeah, what a cool song.
Thank you, buddy.
You so much for your time.
Thanks for having me on the show.
And that sounds like a Kojo song.
I hope it does.
So we did the Livingston Songwriter Festival this year, as well as the Whitefish. And got to meet Bryce Long and interview Bryce on my podcast. Yeah. And of course we didn't get to interview Josh Phillips, but Josh wrote Dirt Cheap for Cody. Yeah. But he didn't actually. He told the story. He actually wrote it for hoping Luke was going to cut it.
Right.
And he said Luke never called, and finally sent it to Trent. And he said 5 minutes after Trent got it, he called him back and said, "Thanks for making Old Cowboy cry. We're going to cut it next week."
That's
and
so
what
cool.
a song.
What a story, though.
What a story.
Holy crap. I want to get one of them phone calls.
Listen, and that's what we love about the songwriter. And that's what we love about this podcast. We want to hear those backstories about how you wrote that song. Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Hey, this has been cool.
It's Steve Helms Band.
Yes.
That's
look
the
it up.
website. That's social media. That's the iTunes. Anywhere you get music, Steve Helms Band. HELMS.
Perfect. Well, we're going to share that with them on the podcast. And we'll tag it. We'll put it in the notes as all that. And please follow Steve. Follow us. And when we'll let you know when this comes out. Please share it.
I promise.
So that we can get people to follow us on this. I need you to sign that on the back of that thing. We got all those.
And almost run out of spots, bro.
Well, but we're gonna even if we have to sign on the sides, we're gonna sign it. We're gonna fill that thing up.
Right there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
For Musical Miles Podcast, I'm with Steve Helms. We are here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll see you somewhere down the road. Adios.